Okay, welcome back. I got a Vice story here, one of the few that isn't gross. Well, I shouldn't say that. A lot of them are not gross. We're working in the Hollywood area and all around there, county, city, all over. Prostitutes, basically. And we work in a street that has male prostitutes. And these are normal dressed-looking guys, not transvestites or cross-dressers. These are just regular-looking guys. And they troll a certain street, and they're prostitutes. They get picked up for sex for money. So we had just got there that night, and we're just starting to work, and we get a call to meet my supervisor and my partner and I get a call to meet another vice supervisor from this division. We're just there helping them. So we go behind a gas station. There's like 6 or 8 vice cops back there, and there's a couple of supervisors. So we get out, and the supervisor, this really tenured supervisor, been on the job like 30 years. He goes to my supervisor and to my partner and myself, and says, let me talk to you guys. So he goes off to the side, away from everybody else, and he says, look, he says, I come out here every night and I drive around to see where my guys are going to work and what kind of activity we have going on here, because he's a supervisor. That's his job. He doesn't operate. He's a supervisor. Oh, I got my glasses on. Sorry about that. I'm old. Okay. Anyway, so he says, I'm going down the street and I see a young male, black. It's happened to be black. Doesn't really matter what he was, but just black. Doesn't really matter. I think the reason why it keyed on him is because I'll tell you in a minute why this guy being black kind of stuck out for him. I see a guy standing there, and he's standing there at against a wall. He's got his hands behind his back, and he's got his feet crossed like a model, and he's watching cars. Okay, well, that's the standard posture for I'm available. Okay, that's the way it was in those days, in the 70s and 80s. And he goes, and I drove by and looked at him, and he smiled at me, and I smiled back at him because I'm supposed to be a customer. And I kept on driving, and I go around the corner, I park, and I'm going, you know what? I've seen him before. He said, I sat there for a few minutes, and I thought, I know I've seen him. At the police academy, I went to lunch a couple of weeks ago, and when you go to the police academy, the students, the recruits, are marching to class. They march everywhere. And he says, I'm going to lunch. I look over and I see like 35, 40 guys march by. And I stop to look at them because it's impressive. They're all in uniform and they're uniformly marching and everything. And not that I'm racist or anything. I'm just looking to see how many women they have, because our department's starting to become diverse. How many blacks they have, how many Latinos, because he's a supervisor and he wants to know, maybe he can look at somebody that can help him work in the undercover ranks. And I see a couple of blacks in the back. Well, that's fine, Well, the problem was, he says, I recognize one of the guys in the back marching as the guy at the corner. I swear it's him. And we're going, well, what do you want to do? He says, well, I said, I know he's been out here for a while because he's very good at what's he doing. And my guys have been out here driving around arresting people, so we need some new faces to see if he is a prostitute, okay? Or see who he is. We got to identify him. Okay, so they look at me because my other partner was a Caucasian gentleman, and they wanted to get a minority since this gentleman was black. That'd be nice to get a minority in there to see what happens. Okay, so they said, and I've done this a while. I've made at least another 70 or 80 of these arrests, so I had no problem with this. So the plan was to try to pick him up, get money for sex, and then to do the deed. Okay, go behind this gas station. And behind the gas station, there'll be, all these undercover cops in there. You basically roll into a gauntlet of cops, and everybody jumps out. Jumps to the car, and we grab it, and it's over. It's for officer safety. And also along the way, we'll have a couple of officers on foot in case something happens in the car. You can pull over, and you got backup. We have this all orchestrated, so it's relatively safe as could be. Okay, fine. So I go all the way around. Everybody's set up. Okay, hide the radio. Go all the way around. I'm coming down the street, facing where I need to pull into the gas station. That makes sense? I hope it does to you guys. Okay. I'm coming down, he's looking at me, I'm looking at him, he smiles, I smile, and I pull to the curb, okay? He dips his head in there, how's it going? I'm doing good, I tell him I'm lonely, the old word game back and forth. Well, he didn't take him long to say, hey, I'll do you blankety blank for $40, okay? So I've got him. He's a prostitute. I don't know who he is, doesn't really matter. I got a prostitute. I don't care what race, rank, or religion he is, I've got a violation, that's all I care about. So I said, great, let's go. So we drive off, and then he goes, well, where do you want to go? I said, well, I know a nice dark gas station over here. He goes, oh, sure, that sounds great. And he's all excited, and he's looking at me and smiling, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm hetero, but I don't know, it just grosses me out, but that's me. You can do whatever you want. Okay, so I'm passing guys, and they're looking at me, and I'm giving signals. This means it looks good, so they're nod as I go by. First guy a block away, second guy I'm nodding as I'm going by driving, nodding, giving the signal. He sees me in the car, because this street's pretty well lit. So when I make the last turn into the back, into the dark, I kind of gun it in there. And of course, as soon as I do that, he looks up and sees it, and I don't want to say they jump him, but they grab him, take him out. And the supervisor over here with me, and I go, got it. Okay, so they're happy. That sergeant's happy. The vice officer in charge of this whole operation. He's in charge of like 60 vice cops on any given weekend. More like 50. But anyway, so he's happy. So they're over there doing their thing, and I start writing my report because I have to write a report, obviously. So I'm writing the report, and then he comes over with a big smile on his face. He goes, "Yeah, we got his ID out of his sock." Said he is currently a recruit at the academy. Currently, he won't be very long. Okay, so they took him into the station. They called the captain from training division. They called the chief's office. When the commander came down that represents the chief at night, and he had his forms with him. And they basically told him that you really don't have, nowadays they probably have a big hearing, but in those days they said either sign the resignation form or we're booking you, or both. I'll sign. Okay. So he signed. I submitted the report with the forms because in case he wants to fight it, we can take the report to a hearing if he decides to fight it and explain what he's doing out there. Basically, not the fact that he's a male having, don't get me wrong, not because he's a male having sex with males. That's not the crime. That's not the problem. The problem is he's a prostitute. Police officers cannot be prostitutes. Police officers cannot be criminals. Police officers can't be robbers, rapists, burglars. This is one of them. You can't do that. So that's why they wanted him out of there. He's not because he's probably hetero or homo. It doesn't really matter. Okay? He's breaking the law, and you expect to have officers reasonably squared away when they become police officers and not have guys like this on there. So I know what happened after that. There was no hearing because I would have gone to it. He resigned and he was gone. So interesting night, and I didn't feel bad at all because it's a criminal. If he just, if it would be other than a policeman, we'd be standard operation, we'd have booked him. He got lucky we didn't get booked, processed. So anyway, that's my story. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.